Welcome back to my channel. So if you are tuning into this second part, you definitely heard the first part about colorism with my beautiful cousin. So now we're really just getting into deeper conversations about colorism in class, in different industries. So definitely continue listening, and don't forget to hit that subscribe, like, and share button.
Hot take. I think colorism and classism go hand in hand, and I think
Okay.
that I do.
Interesting.
And just like the same way that racism and capitalism go hand in hand, colorism and classism definitely go hand in hand. And let me use this as an example.
Yes,
I think it goes back to respectability politics, because it was a time in this country where Black people were not viewed like we weren't essentially like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
They literally viewed us as less than a dirt beneath their shoe.
Mm-hmm. Always, yeah.
And when we finally had the opportunity to be like, you know what, you're free, like there was a movement. Like, you can look this up. There was a movement to kind of be, there were thinkers and Black people out there who were like, we have to be the most presentable versions of ourselves.
Yeah.
And that came with, like, you need to show Black people can make money and be something of themselves. You have to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer. And I think that's like it happens a lot in a lot of immigrant communities too. You see that. That's why a lot of parents, like, they tell their kids doctor, lawyer, engineer, because it's like, you have to be something presentable to the world.
Right. And you have to, it has to be a bigger position to step up and be that.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I think colorism worked the same way, because if you look back, and I know I'm speaking on American specifically culture, just because that's what I studied at, like, HBCUs. They were doing the brown paper back test. They were mocking people in the decision room, saying, like, darky needs to go to FAMU, doesn't need to go to Howard. Like, a lot of those agricultural and mechanical universities.
Yep.
They were for darker people, and they weren't teaching the Latin curriculum that the future Black leaders of America that went to Howard University and Spelman College were doing. And that's just the way it was. And then it's like, well, who can afford to actually go to Howard? Who can actually afford to go to Spelman? That's when classism comes into play. And then legacy turns into it. And then it's like, well, who's joining these organizations? Because, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you have legacy. Legacy is just a classist thing, because it's like,
true.
All right. I mean, I'm not going to say it's necessarily a bad thing, because it's nice to create something that's outlasts yourself.
True. Within,
right?
Within your name,
people have benefited from it forever. But it's like, when you go to a college, it's easier for, like, the way you move is just different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you have someone that's already done it. So,
that's
like,
true.
For example, with the Greek-like organizations that also did the brown paper back test and have legacy, it's like, all right, well, my mom was a blah, blah, blah. I want to be a blah, blah, blah. And the entry pathway is different.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know what it is, because I'm not a member. We're not going to get into that. But, like, from the knowledge that I know, these are great organizations. Uplift the Black community. I will never, on this call, I'm not going to say that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, Greek life, all that, yeah.
But it is, like, an organization that is built on Black people, yes, but it's like, what kind of Black people?
True. That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and then if you think of, like, and I think that goes back to representation, because it's like, on television, who are we choosing to represent Black people? Black people who look respectable.
Yeah, that's true.
Who they want. Like, if you look at a certain TV show who's undergoing their last season right now as of January 16th, 2022, it's like, who did they choose to represent that?
Yeah.
Like, represent that what they want to be the new stereotypical Black family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The one that's, like, perfect, when the mom's a doctor and the dad's, like, a marketing exec, and they have the twins and the two perfect angels and the da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
What do they look like? The one dark character on that show, why was she going to court for anger issues? Like, why did she have court-appointed, court-mandated therapy for anger issues? And she was the one. So it's just like, that's how they want to represent. Like, the respectable Black people are always going to look a certain way, essentially. But and when they're not, like when it's either that or they become so concerned with being respectable if they're darker that they become the villain. And I think that's the other end. So if you look back to like the 90s and you look back to like, oh my god, what's her name? You know who I'm talking about? Evil Angela Bassett. What's her name? Or even like Gabrielle Union. She was always like that uppity, dark-skinned black girl, but she was a villain.
That's true. Always, yeah. She's never played the nice. Yeah, that's true.
Never been, like, even in Deliver Us from Eva, she was right.
Yeah.
Eva was right. Them bum boys was not good enough for his sisters.
It's true. Yeah.
Because they were bums, and she was the evil one.
Yeah.
She got her family out the mud, and she wasn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like those are the two kind of.
That's actually a good movie to talk about class too, with their statuses, all of them, the sister status, even her status. That is very true. So colorism in class. That's a good one. That's a very good one to compare that to. Yeah.
And I think now it's gotten better.
Okay.
And I'm not going to say it's only Issa Rae's fault. That's our fault. I'm not only going to credit Issa Rae to this.
Yeah.
But when Issa made Insecure, things started rumbling. She was really shaking the table. And for that, you will never hear anything bad out of my mouth coming, like, I will never, like, well, my mom, I'm never saying nothing bad about Issa Rae unless she really does something trifling. And to this day, she hasn't done nothing trifling. So, on Paulette's name, I'm not saying nothing bad. I can't, because she's done so much for, like, with one show that was funny for immigrant women, black women, dark black women, college educated.
Yes.
Just so many boxes were checked with one show that I'm just like,
yeah,
I love you.
It's true.
Mom,
it's true.
girl.
And now I feel like
black
it's
women specifically.
yes.
So that's another thing. I think Hollywood, for some reason, thinks that dark-skinned black women don't exist between the ages of 13 and 30.
You think so?
Because if you think about it, you have little black girls playing. So you have, like, Melody Hurd.
Okay.
Is that her name? Like,
Yeah.
Melody Hurd. You know, you have, like, the adorable, like, little black child. Like, that child would be dark skin, right? And then you have Viola Davis.
Okay.
Octavia Butler.
Yeah.
There are not a lot of actresses who are, like, portrayed, who are kind of in that medium.
Yeah. And I wouldn't even say Issa Rae's, like, dark skin either. I wouldn't say that.
True. But
I would
she is, like, noticing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I would say in her industry, for sure, yeah, they would put her in that category as a darker skinned woman who's just, yeah, who has changed a lot with Insecure. It's so true.
Like, darker skinned woman, but I think the thing is she's not light skinned.
That's the thing too, yeah. She's not, yeah, that's true. Amanda Seals. Amanda Seals is.
Like, a lot of the girlies, you have SZA.
That's true. And her.
Okay. Yeah, we have her. We do.
I would say she's, I mean, I don't think she's light skinned.
I don't know. I haven't seen, honestly, she always has one of them glasses.
Oh, okay. I don't think she's, from my opinion, I would say she's a dark skinned woman.
Okay.
But again, it goes into that spectrum of like...
Yeah, it's like she's not unambiguously light-skinned.
Right, exactly. Right.
Like, no one would sit here and be like, SZA's light-skinned.
Right.
And if they do, it's like, excuse me?
Yeah, like what are you looking at? Yeah, exactly.
What are you looking
at? Right.
Exactly.
That is true, yeah, because I'm like, she's not so... But they're all just like within that spectrum of like, I guess because it's their industry, they're just dark-skinned women.
And I think especially with like... Yeah, I think we have less range. We just have less range.
Yeah.
Like in terms of representation to the public as darker skinned people.
It's true.
And I can only speak for like Black experience, but it's like you have like that age range where it's like a certain age demographic doesn't exist. But also it's like in terms of music, we don't really have like the option to be like pop girlies. Which is why Normani is like absolutely amazing. Because like Normani proved that she could be that pop girly with motivation. Mm-hmm. But it's like the last kind of pop. We really had any like dark skinned pop girlies who were like a thing. No. In the same way that we've had like Doja Cat, the same way that we, you know what I mean?
True. Yeah.
We had Janet Jackson.
Okay.
But even that. So no,
But she's
Janet Jackson.
okay.
Janet Jackson.
Okay.
Which even then, it's
Yeah, with age spectrum, that's
she was unambiguous. Like spectrum, yes, but she was unambiguously light skinned.
yeah.
I would say there's a conversation about whether or not she's dark skinned, but according to some people on Twitter,
Okay.
And this is like the approach that I've probably had to start taking, that I probably will start taking. There's no such thing as like brown skin. It's either people see you as light or you dark.
That's true. That is very true. Yeah, that is true.
Because if you're not light skinned, you the opposite.
Yeah, that I feel like that's what like the world sees, and then once you're actually like in that spectrum, you're like no, but like there's me. Exactly. Yeah, you're like there's me, there's somebody else, and there's somebody else that's darker. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Janet Jackson,
yeah,
they tore her head.
It's true.
So it's like, and she was a pop girly. We haven't really had like a pop girly since Janet Jackson that has like, I don't say broken barriers, but had the hold on the culture.
That's true. Yeah, that actually like made something bigger than what it is today. That is true.
The same way that like Beyonce has, the same way Doja Cat has, the same way Nicki Minaj has, the same way Rihanna has. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, ain't none, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's like, true. And they're all kind of in the same spectrum. So it's like,
exactly.
Where do you go from there? That is very true. Have you seen Selling Tampa?
Yes, I have.
Have you seen Selling Sunset?
I've watched some of it, yes.
I would love to get, because this actually goes into that as well.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts?
I think that...
Do you think this, like, plays into either one? Colorism?
I think the way they treat, what's her name, Sherelle?
Yeah, Sherelle or Sherelle, yeah. The main one of Allure? Yeah, Sherelle.
Yeah, Sherelle.
Mm-hmm.
The way, I think the reason why they treat her like that is because, like, she has that beauty capital. Honestly, okay. I'm gonna just say it.
Okay.
And I feel like, as of right now, it could be something completely different, but from what they have shown us, Sherelle hasn't really given us anything to really be like, oh, she's like an amazing boss and mentor, she's like this and the third. It was just like, she was a black woman that wanted to open a realty business, or
she did it, and that was it.
A realty brokerage, which props to her, because there aren't a lot of black women in realty from what the show has portrayed, and that's amazing that she's doing that. It's amazing that she was able to gather all of these women to do that. But it's like, she's the big bad light skin with the darkies around her. I'm just gonna.
No, it's true.
There's nowhere else to say it.
It is very true.
There's no way else to say it. Like, who were her top producers? Actually, Anna Sophie, she was a little light. She was light.
You think so?
Anna Sophie?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Okay. I can see it a little. Okay. A little bit. Okay. Yeah, because as we talk into that, that show came to my mind, because I was like, as I was watching it, I was just like, there's so much conversation with that, with like,
if you look at the dynamic between her and Joanna, I think it's very, very interesting.
Yes, that is true.
Joanna's always like her right-hand man.
Yes.
And like, I'm like, how does your right-hand man not have their realtor's license yet, and you're a brokerage owner?
Exactly.
So is that because I think I don't want to say she sees herself above Joanna, because I don't know this woman from nowhere.
That's true. Yeah, like exact same. Like I was like, I don't know these people, but like from what I'm seeing, my perspective.
What I'm seeing.
Right.
From what I am seeing,
it just looks like Joanna is the classier and holds herself better than anybody else.
Exactly. And there was like this one scene in particular when it's like Joanna versus Colony, and they're both trying to sell apartments in the same house.
Right. Yes.
And Joanna is like, I don't want to say unprepared, but like Colony's like killing it.
Yes.
And Joanna kind of just like falters like a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, she did an okay job, but it was just like.
But it was just like she did an okay job.
Right. She did the standard.
Yeah. Of the brokerage firm doing an only okay job.
Right. And a standard job.
Exactly. I know that was supposed to be set up between like Colony and Joanna, because they were both fighting for the same position. But even in that itself, they have the two dark-skinned women fighting for the position to be the right-hand man of the light bright.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry.
No, it's true. It's true, because I was so like intrigued about it. But
Yeah, because I saw it a lot in that too. And then I was just like, also, I mean, I understand it, but I was also just like, okay, the women I feel like in Selling Tampa, I felt like they had like, I mean, yeah, every like career status, you know, black women are fighting to the top. But I did notice that it was like the darker skinned women are fighting against each other more than anyone out of the whole team.
I didn't even think about that because you had what's her name, Alexis.
Yeah, Alexis, like, and she and
I didn't even tell you the property.
right, and they made her look bad. Not look bad, but like she did look really bad after that, and she lost her job, and then. But the other women, they were all constantly fighting against each other. But it was like,
and if you go back to the thing with Alexis too, what's her name? The one that made up the thing for HR.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking
yeah,
about?
I know. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She's like a little older. She has kids. Like
yeah.
She like
I forgot her
when she
name.
first went to Sherelle like with her reservations on Alexis selling the house. She was like, Sherelle was like, no, like that, are like basically waving her off. So this is my theory. She personally orchestrated it to show her like, if you're not gonna listen to what I'm telling you, you're just gonna have to see it for yourself.
Right? Yeah.
And it's like, what does that say about you not listening to your
it's true. It is true. Any ending points about colorism that you would like to talk about real fast? Point out?
Yeah. I guess this would be kind of the epilogue to my TED Talk if I was allowed to give one.
Okay.
But at the end of it, I basically said, like, I don't have the answer for this. No one does. But it's good that we're talking about it.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're kind of past the point where it's like, yeah, we're talking about... Because that was, 3 years ago? We've been talking for 3 years. Listen, I'm not going to say nothing that ever came from talking. But talking without action is just talk. Like, if we're going to sit here and talk about uplifting all black women, colorism is so beautiful, like, we have to stop editing, we have to stop casting dark-skinned models and then, like, editing them to look even darker to the point where it's almost like fetishization. Just let dark-skinned black women exist without there being some sort of mysticism around it.
Okay.
Like, of course, like, black girl magic, and I love black girl magic. I think black girl magic is very important, very uplifting, but it's almost taking to the point where it's like we're not real.
That is true, yeah.
It's like we can't just do this and just like be normal and just be like going about our days or like be upset about something or be sad about something or be super happy about something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like we are human beings, and I'm just gonna talk in terms of representation. Like, yeah, that needs to be portrayed more. 2022, like Pluto's moving into Capricorn. We need to start doing some action here.
Yeah. So what would you say would be something that we should make action of?
So my dark-skinned baddies out there, or my non-light-skinned baddies out there, just keep being you. And I know it's really hard sometimes, especially when you're around people who don't look like you. Say, like, you have to stop caring about, like, how other people will perceive you. Because at the end of the day, if your work speaks for itself, your work speaks for itself.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're going to have to use the tactics of our snowflake folks to make things happen, then do it. If you get passed up for that promotion and you take it up to HR, take it up to HR, babes.
Yeah.
Let them know. Make sure you come by well documented. And I'm sorry that that's the path that has to be taken because of, like, the color of our skin is part of it. But it's like, you know... Or, like, yeah, I think, like, for example, me, I have 2 white roommates, and I think I've been affected by both, like, colorism and racism in that sense, because, like, I feel like sometimes, especially in the beginning of, like, my stay in London, I was scared, like, I was scared that I would be the aggressive black girl, this black girl.
Okay.
And it was in a way that, like, there's a mixed woman that works in the market who, like, we're friends with.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of I don't want to say I felt it more than she did, but, like, we've had conversations about it, and she just doesn't have those concerns.
Oh, okay.
So it's just, like, you know, like, I can't be afraid of being, like, the loud black girl, because I'm loud, and I talk a lot, and that's okay.
Yeah,
and that's
fine. Right.
And that's okay. And if you're quiet, that's okay.
Too,
like,
yeah.
It's like you should just be able to exist.
Yeah.
So I say now, exist, take care of yourselves, honor your ancestors and God or whatever the heck you believe in, and keep pushing. Keep it pushing.
Thank you so much for this
Thank
talk.
you for having me.
Thank you. And yeah, post.
And you can find her at
Amaya.Amaya.BMP. I'll watch my TED Talk.
Yes.
It'll probably be linked somewhere, hopefully.
Yes.
And I'm trying to think.
It's going to be linked below. All of your information will be linked below. So everybody can find you.
I don't make colorism content on there. I just think twin can, so but you should still follow me. Okay, bye.
And on that note, you guys know where to find moi. And her information will also be down below, her Instagram, TikTok, and her TED Talk, which was great. So go check that out, guys. Thanks for watching or listening.